projectiles in 1 dimension and 2 dimensions. So for vertical motion, the acceleration is constant. It's due to gravity. Gravity acts downwards. We need to use this subscript notation. So we have displacement in the y direction. We have the initial velocity in the y direction. So when using suvat, we use the same subscript notation. These are all vectors, so we need to consider the direction, hence the sy, uy, vy, ay. T is a scalar, so we don't need to do anything to this one. But once you have these values and you substitute them into the suvat formulae, in the suvat formulae you don't need to rewrite these with like vy or uy or ay or anything. You can leave these as they are. So for problem solving, when looking at the vertical direction, we use suvat formulae. Now things are a bit different in the horizontal direction, because horizontal velocity is constant, it doesn't change. So we use u sub x to represent the initial horizontal velocity, and we use v sub x for the horizontal velocity at any given time. And these two are the same, they are equal. The acceleration in the x direction, in the horizontal direction, is 0. So should we still use these suvat formulae? If the acceleration is 0, every term with a cancels out, because a is 0. So we get these formulae. So in the x direction, the velocity is always the same as the initial velocity component. So v equals u, that doesn't tell you anything. Or v squared equals u squared doesn't say anything, because v and u are the same. So we can get rid of more formulae from here, and we're left with this, s equals vt. So we don't need to use suvat formulae for the horizontal direction. This formula is useful. The s here, the displacement, is in the x direction. So for example, the x displacement here is 0, the ball starts here, and then this might be the distance the ball covers horizontally. So we could work out the displacement at this point, s sub x. V represents the velocity at any point, at any given time, horizontally. So this is just u cos theta from here. It's this value, u sub x. You could write this formula as s equals ut as well. It wouldn't change anything, because u and v are the same horizontally. So for solving problems with projectiles in 2 dimensions, we look at vertical motion, so that's suvat formulae. We look at horizontal motion, where s equals vt, and we can also look at vectors, but we'll do this later. And remember to use the subscript notation for your horizontal and vertical variables to avoid confusion.